When it comes to unknowns that make people question reality, has there ever really been a type of creature more accurate for that description other than SCPs? Let me know what you think in the comments, and let's discuss some alien anomalies together. SCP-1660-7 is the SCP Foundation's designation for an extra-dimensional species of reptomammalian armored beasts with bioluminescent body parts. Where's my gold star for getting through all of that without bleeping up? They are a sentient race inhabiting a miniature parallel universe known as SCP-1660-7 that can be accessed through a gate created by SCP-1660, an elaborately decorated oil lamp made of silver, coral, and nautilus shell. 1660-7 resembles large humanoid beings with crocodilian-like heads and a long, forked, heavy tail. Now, the height of an adult from the tip of the tail to the head is about 2 meters, and their front limbs are designed so that they can act like human hands. They can use fire, the simplest tools, and have their own language based on bioluminescent patterns. They're intelligent, gregarious predators. Their behavior tends to resemble Earth wolves, and they're not afraid of humans, according to the Foundation, they attack employees for no particular reason and often kill them. That's why they're like, okay, employees, don't go near these ones. These creatures can easily climb trees and walls, and as some folks found out over time, they don't attack people for no reason. It's because they idolize them. They found this out because of rock art, some drawings, it's just disturbing. SCP-163 is a sapient organism of extraterrestrial origin. When standing, it's about 2 meters tall, 1.5 meters wide, and the bulk of the body is suspended from about 50 centimeters above the ground. We love math. The body is roughly cylindrical with a circular mouth at the bottom, the equivalent of a head at the top, and 8 three-jointed legs arranged radially around the middle. 163 also has a series of specialized limbs, which include 2 prehensile feeding apparatuses on either side of the mouth, 2 arms near the top of the body, used for delicate manipulation, 2 larger arms closer to the legs, which are for heavy manipulation and lifting, and there's 2 appendages of indeterminate function located between the legs, and there's some mouth parts, but they were amputated prior to discovery. About 30 centimeters from the top of the body is a single semi-compound eye, which extends in a ring around it, allowing a full 360 degrees of vision. There is a blind spot at the back of the head to make way for an organ used for elimination of bodily waste, and the compound eye is separated into 88 units. The most likely hypothesis is that each unit receives only vertical information, while the brain intuits horizontal information by comparing input from the different units. SCP-163 contains an endoskeleton, which consists of tissue similar in chemical composition and structure to cellulose, and the skeletal structure protrudes from the uppermost joint of each leg and appears to have been blunted by mechanical means. By the way, there's no pain response when samples are taken from these protrusions. The skin is transparent to visible wavelengths of light, but opaque to ultraviolet. Thanks to research, apparently their home environment would have contained different proportions of elements compared to that of Earth, which is evidenced by its sensitivity to certain common elements and resistance to other less common ones. Nobody really knows how it communicates complex ideas because the only vocalization it's produced is a steady wave of approximately 15 Hz when in certain emotional states. And there's no variation to this vocalization, which can last from 15 seconds all the way up to 10 minutes. If you do encounter that, just stay in a well-lit area afterwards to avoid the paranoia kicking in. Back to the creature, emotions are primarily displayed by the dome of tissue above the compound eye, and different states correspond to distortion of furrows in the skin by subdermal muscles. So, reacts kind of similar to a human. It was first discovered by miners in the Andes Mountains when they reported coming across an impenetrable mirrored surface, which disappeared. No big. SCP-1941 is a manifestation that was first discovered on May 28th of the year 2000 when attention was drawn to what had been assumed to be a small comet impacting 500 kilometers southeast of the Jackson crater in the northern hemisphere of the far side of the moon. Since its discovery, evidence of rapid industrial activity and exponential growth have emerged. Beginning in June of 2002, transmissions from the site were detected and consisted of a bootstrap linguistic program that established a small mathematical vocabulary, followed by a particular number and a request for its prime factors. Now, don't ask me about the math stuff. I can't help you there. It is currently unknown what the consequences are of either transmitting or failing to transmit these factors. Fast forward to March 2014, a secondary message was detected in what was thought to be noise in the primary channel. Using the established mathematical vocabulary, which once again, not going into detail about, the secondary message appears to suggest that the transmission of the prime factors. It has been believed that SCP-1941 was designed to be shut down by a neighboring civilization of sufficient sophistication should they find its activities undesirable. The currently deployed LRO resolving power is insufficient to determine exactly what's responsible. However, crazily high temperatures and spectroscopy results suggest that strip mining, refining, and fabrication are taking place. Also, neutrino activity has been consistent with nuclear fusion. Also, some folks guess that a technologically sophisticated alien package impacted the moon and is responsible for all of this. And this would probably be a probe, and it would be able to make use of available raw materials in its environment in order to replicate itself. And we get enough copies, well, we're gonna get that long-term goal. In the decades since this thing was discovered, the area it encompasses has grown by a factor of 3.5, giving it an estimated doubling rate of 7 years. Last somebody reported on it, I think it occupied an area of like 250 square kilometers, which is roughly the area of the UK. And if it continues to spread at the same rate, the entire moon's surface could be covered by 2040. Now, Foundation intelligence officers are currently collaborating with like NASA, Russia, and a lot of other things because they want to keep this hush-hush. SCP-2362 is the designation of Pluto, an interior Kuiper Belt project following the discovery of its organic composition by Foundation researchers in 1983. It's currently a trans-Neptunian debris field orbiting the Sun that's approximately 900 kilometers in length, consisting of a bell-shaped mass with 13 trailing appendages and generally resembling a jellyfish of the Pelagia genus. It radiates blue light and has no real identifiable surface features. Now, 2362-1 is able to propel itself by expanding and contracting its appendages, and the mechanism of this propulsion is poorly understood, but might have some similarity to conventional ion propulsion given the stream of charged particles detected in the object's wake. Upon its emergence, the natural satellites were torn apart by tidal forces and now form part of a debris field. Now, Dash 1 is currently following an escape trajectory as it heads towards the vicinity of Barnard's star at a speed that's super fast. Since it's estimated to leave the solar system at some point in the next century, it's not considered a threat to life on Earth at this point in time. 2362 is visible from Earth through high-power telescopes. 2362 is visible from Earth through high-power telescopes, but don't worry about it. I think a lot of the images and whatnot that have been caught on satellites have been repressed for safety reasons, because public knowledge of 2362 in its current state is not supposed to be getting out. It's supposed to be all hush hush, so if I go disappearing starting tomorrow, you'll know why. Let's end today with the ultimate spacey SCP-1342. Specifically 1342-1, which is a replica of the Voyager 1. Exact replication of the original probe extends to sensor packages and apparent chemical composition. However, some components appear to have been constructed based on incomplete plans or parts, and as a result, several components were non-functional upon recovery. It was initially detected on September 25th of 1982, approximately 35,000 kilometers above the Earth's surface, traveling at suborbital velocity. Foundation agents recovered Dash 1 on September 27th, after it underwent an uncontrollable atmospheric entry and splashdown around 300 kilometers east of Baker Island. 1342-1's detection was possible due to a large burst of radiation that occurred upon its appearance. Now, nobody really knows how it remained intact during its descent, despite appearing to have similar chemical composition to the original Voyager. Dash 2, on the other hand, is a gold-plated phonograph record, with specifications matching the golden records carried on the Voyager probes. Instructions for playing and decoding remain original, but the pulsar map has been altered to show the star Gliese 445 as the origin. Now, when decoded, Dash 2 contains a variety of cultural and scientific data in the form of images and audio, and approximately 2 hours of audio recordings are present, consisting of various forms of music and buzzing. Part of the music appears to be an excerpt of Cavatina from the string quartet number 13 in B-flat, which was Beethoven's, and the encoded images vary greatly in content, but all contain physical or chemical information on the subject, like size, mass, orbital period of a planet, and also a string of pictorial characters. A radially symmetric organism, which is referred to as 1342-3, is shown in various stages of development. Fully grown, the organism is approximately 2 meters tall, has 3 legs and 3 elongated arms, with each hand having 3 fingers, positioned around a central axis on a roughly cylindrical torso. 3 snout-like protrusions exist in place of a head, each ending in a beak, and 82% of the encoded images show Dash 3 in a wide variety of presumed cultural settings. Scenes identified include agriculture, manufacturing, urban crowds, just all sorts of places. Images also of a number of celestial bodies are included. One planet shown has a partially Earth-like surface, consisting of approximately 60% liquid water, 4% urbanization and plant life, and 36% desert and wasteland. The planet has larger than expected storms and ice caps than would be suggested by physical qualities supplied by Dash 2, and appears to be undergoing massive ecological collapse. Now, this planet is shown to have a lot of extensive orbital infrastructure, which is not limited to spacecraft manufacturing facilities, and a lot of other things, which I think it would be a pretty great place to live, but all of the images show the structures to be in a wrecked or neglected state, which really sad, because the final encoded image shows a vessel heading towards an extremely damaged space station, which not a good sign. And that's it for me once again, folks. I've been Alexa, the resident ookie spooky girly, and I'll see y'all next time, you lovely spooky people.